Hey guys, this is Collin Moshman for CardsChat.com, and today we have a theme video for you on post-flop heads-up play. And I want to say first, if you guys are enjoying the content that Katie and I make for CardsChat, which I really hope you do, we would love it if you click on the CardsChat logo in the bottom right corner to subscribe, or the red subscribe button below this video. So let's get started, and these hands are going to come from a heads-up multi-table tournament with a bounty that I played on PokerStars. So let's look at a few of the key spots in this game, beginning with Queen 10 suited. We defend in the big blind here, and most important thing is you want to plan your hands. You could check raise. If you do and your opponent moves all in, you would have to call it off, or you can call and allow him to continue bluffing when he doesn't have much. He checks back the turn, and at the river we have to bet very big. Our opponent is going to think a lot of the time we have a busted flush draw. We have the naked diamond. So if he has any kind of showdown value, if he beats a bluff, there's a very good chance he's going to call even if we bet very large. So I bet 900 into 1350. You could even go full pot or bigger. He folds, but that's my approach to this hand. In heads up, ranges are wider. I would open here down to Jack 5 offsuit on the button. Any hand I play is going to be with a raise in heads up play the vast majority of the time. So we make a continuation bet at this flop. Our opponent calls, that's fine, we have a pretty strong hand. And the question here is, what do we do at the turn? Now, word of advice on these spots. If there are a lot of draws out there, you usually want to bet your made hands at the turn. And the reason for that is because if you check back here, there are a tremendous number of draws, straight draws, heart draws, club draws, that you're giving your opponent a free card with. So my approach in these spots is I'm going to bet, and if my opponent folds, that's fine. If he calls, then unless I hit a jack or another 7 on the river, I'm just going to check it back, and that is my plan in this spot. I bet, and he folds. Always nice when you're playing heads up when you get out a real hand, in this case ace-jack. We raise. If our opponent 3-bets us, we're going to be very happy to get it in pre-flop. In fact, even with ace-9 offsuit, I'd be pretty happy to get it in pre-flop. And he calls. This is a very coordinated flop. We've missed. If the flop is wet, forget your c-bet. So I'm going to just check back here just about all the time. There's so many hands that can call us draws, made hands. And we have a little bit of showdown value, ability to win the pot unimproved with our ace-jack. Now at the turn, this would be a good scare card to bet if we didn't have anything, but some of the time here we will have the best hand with our top pair. Betting is not going to accomplish very much, so I like checking back and just looking to get to showdown as cheaply as possible. If he checked on the river, I would have put out a large bet to try to fold out at chop, but instead he makes the giant bet. I'm guessing that he actually has a club and is just trying to get me to call, hoping to chop. I don't bite. Maybe he bluffs me out. And that is the ace-jack hand. Here it's a pretty red king 4. We take a flop, check it back pre-flop, and I am going to call. I'm going to call for a couple reasons. One, I have outs to improve. I can hit 3 outs to a king. I also have a backdoor heart draw. And also king high isn't such a bad flop when it's heads up. Isn't such a bad hand that is when it's heads up on a paired flop. There are a lot of worse hands he can have. So getting good odds, I'm going to call here and head to a turn. He min bets once again. And with king high, I'm just going to call. I also have the draw now. And our opponent checks back, he wins the pot, but this is a spot where he should really be value betting his top pair, given how few chips have gone into the pot this far in the hand. And lastly, here with 8-4 offsuit, I would actually normally fold this hand. I'm a little bit surprised to see that I'm opening it. I would typically play 8-5 off, so 8-4 off isn't too crazy, but kind of a light raise. So I c-bet, I flop trips, pretty awesome. Put out the c-bet, and he check raises. So a lot of the time when he makes this check raise, he has nothing. It's difficult for him to have a 4 because if he did, a lot of the time he's just going to fold pre-flop. There are also 3 4s already accounted for. So he could have a 9, he could have a flush draw, but a lot of the time it's just someone who realizes that I'm also unlikely to have anything, so he attacks hoping to get me to fold. For that reason, I call, which allows him to continue bluffing when he does not have much. call again on the turn, and I would be value betting this river if he checked. Instead though, he bets pretty big, and here he looks polarized. In other words, he could have a very strong hand or he could have nothing, but it's pretty unlikely that he's going to bet and then call if I shove with the worst hand. So I don't think raising is going to accomplish much. I do think I had the best hand most of the time, but if I raise, he's going to fold all of his bluffs, and I no longer do well against his range for calling off a shove. So a bit of an advanced concept there. Hopefully that makes sense. And I go ahead and call here. He's got 2 pair, I guess 3 pair actually, and we win that pot. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this glimpse at Heads Up post-flop play. Thanks very much for watching. This has been Collin Moshman for CardsChat.com.